sure that, don't they at least have their newsletter and stuff that'll put out our packet, right?
Yeah, they have it where you can advertise in there, you know, that Ellis County looking for a county administrator. If I'm not mistaken, that's free on their website.
Yeah, there's bucks.
The Ellis County Board of Commissioners meeting will now come to order. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Donna, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Dean Hazelhorst,
Present.
Chair Commissioner Butch Schleier,
Present.
Commissioner Dustin Roth.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Okay. Any changes or modifications to the order of business? Okay, no executive sessions. Okay. Prior minutes? No prior minutes? Okay. I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve consent agenda items A through G as presented.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Any issues from persons not on the order of business? Don't look like it. Monthly financial report. Did we get a chance to review the monthly financial report?
Sir, Mr. Chairman, no questions.
Okay.
No questions.
Okay, our next item is the Employee Service Awards. That's Janet.
I'm Janet Schmidt, HR General Service here at Ellis County. We give service awards for 5, 10, 15, et cetera, and so forth years. And then KAC also gives out awards at 8 years, 16, and 24, and every 8 years thereafter. So I've got those to give out today. I've invited all the employees who qualified for an award, but I know some are working, some have other things. But if the commissioners would like to come up so that you can congratulate them. I always start off with the 5-year awards. So I'm going to call your name if they're not here. I'm just going to kind of do it kind of fast. If I don't see them, I'll just keep on going. 5 years, they get a $20 check plus of a choice of a hat or a scarf. We have Ron Shoemaker from Buildings and Grounds, Caitlin Peak, EMS, Matt Mayer, EMS, Megan Stramel from Road and Bridge, Shad Post, EMS, Susanna Augustine, Motor Vehicle Treasurer, Emma Moore, EMS. Yay, Emma. Larry Rohr, Road and Bridge. And then I have 5 firefighters. Jared Shelton, Corey LeDuc, Connor Gagnon, and Rusty Lindsay. And to the 10 years. At 10 years, they get $25 check plus a throw. And I got Daniel Labarge, EMS. Mary Street from the Health Department. Caitlin Johannes from the Sheriff Department. Kirsten Steckline from the Attorney Department. You're going to pick hers up?
I'm the proxy.
You're the proxy. Well, you stay close. You got a lot of them this year. And David Fitzhugh from EMS. And then one firefighter, Cole Dingus. Up to 15 years. 15 years of service, they get $30 plus a polo. Kay Rohr from Solid Waste. Rhonda Keener, attorney. Tabitha Dinas from the sheriff's office. Yep, she's on her way. Scott wants a picture.
There we go, excellent, thank you.
And Michael Weber from the appraisers. I had to get your shirt a little darker because of that tall. And then I have one firefighter, Charles Albers, at 15 years. Oh, Charlene, I missed her. She didn't want a polo, she just wanted a check.
Charlene Brubaker.
Yeah, no, she didn't want one. Okay, 20 years. They get a $35 plus paid day off. Selena Beilman from the appraiser's office. That day off will show up on your check as an award. You can take that whenever you need it. Danita Schroeder, EMS. Gary Haas from Noxious Weed. And I have two firefighters at 20 years, Tom Tholen. And Chris Munch. And we have just one employee at 25 years of service, received $40 plus a jacket and a paid day. Oh, I missed Mary. Where'd she go? Oh. Okay, he's got it here if you want to come up. I was gonna say, I thought I read. Mary Street from the Health Department. Strite. Roberta Oberney from the Sheriff Department at 25 years. I don't see her. 30 years of service, 45 plus a clock and a paid day. Greg Erbert from Buildings and Grounds.
Long time.
And Tom Drees. Huh?
For myself.
For yourself, yeah.
So far they showed up. They had a day off, they say?
Yeah. You can take it on Saturday, okay? 35 years of service, $50 check, paid date, and an engraved plaque. I have Chris Von Little from Road and Bridge and Kevin Kerner from the Sheriff's Department. And my last one is 40 years of service, $50 check and engraved plaque. We got Donna Maskus serving her last.
Congratulations.
Okay, and then the KAC Awards, 8 years, and I just get a certificate, and then anything further that gets a certificate and a little pin. So at 8 years, I have Tim Epperson from Road and Bridge, Lance Fisher, Sheriff's Department, and then at 16 years, Michelle Ballman from the Appraiser's Office, Josh Gibson from the Sheriff's Department, Austin Thiemhill, if I pronounced that right, from EMS, Sharice Brule from EMS, and Tom's here picking hers up for Brenda Baskell from the Attorney's Office. And then 24 years, we have one, Dustin Schubert from EMS. And Donna, you get to come up again. KAC for 40 years. And that is all of them.
Okay, our next item of business is going to be the Noxious Weed Annual Report. Gary Hars.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Gary Haas, Weed Control Supervisor. I'm here tonight with my annual noxious weed eradication progress report for 2019 and the annual noxious weed management plan for 2020. On the progress report, the only thing that really stands out to me different, the chemical purchases and the revenue were both down, mainly because of the weather pattern we've been in the last 2 years. Like say this year, for instance, or 2019, August, pretty well all the producer sprayers, you know, really weren't able to go. We had a rain event about every 4 days or so, and so that took us down. So our chemical purchases were about $35,000 lower than what they were in 2018, and they were about $97,000 lower than they were in 17, because 17 was more of a typical weather pattern for us, and so and the revenue was also down on that. Other than that, you know, it's pretty much the same. The management plan didn't change a whole lot, just a little bit of wording on some of it. We're spraying every mile of the right-of-ways for general weed control, and then we go back and do some noxious weed treatments where needed. We're still, for the state, we're doing all of the interstate and 183 and all of their right-of-ways and whatever spraying they need. And for the cities, we do, you know, what they request. We still enforce the noxious weed law. So if you have any questions.
Okay. No, I don't think I do. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Gary?
I do not. Thank you, Gary.
All right, thank you.
Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll move that the commission approve the annual noxious weed eradication progress report for 2019 and annual noxious weed management plan for 2020.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, the next agenda item is appraisal fees. Lisa?
Good evening, Commissioners. Lisa Ree, County Appraiser. I am here again this evening to visit with you about implementing a couple user fees. If you remember, the commission has asked department head and elected officials to look for revenue sources, and we are not a service department, but this is what I have come up with and am presenting to you again. The first one that I listed is a small user fee for when we have certain people ask for a detail of breakdown of taxes. Typically that comes from abstractors, realtors. Usually they're not a lot of time, but sometimes we can work up between a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the complexity of the property. We had one last month that was from a request from an abstractor. It was a sale on a property where they were splitting out some agricultural land. It took our GIS person 45 minutes to do that. So I think that would be worth looking into, to charge a fee for that, especially since that's above and beyond what our actual duties are that we're required to do. So that, I looked at what it would cost to do something like that, and I did a range, so we could start at the minimum of $15 for just to do it, and if it goes more than 15 minutes, then we would progress on up to the fee based on how long it takes us to do that task.
And do you charge anything now, Lisa?
No, we do not charge anything. That's a service we've been glad to provide free of charge.
Are most counties charging for this service?
I did not check in for that one.
Okay.
To that, if other counties are.
Okay.
The second item to charge a user fee is on our website. We have a link that's called Property Search. Anyone can go to that property search. We have public access, and then we have a registered user private access. Public access is free of charge. They can get any information from our office except for items that are restricted per statute, and that's mainly sales information. For the registered site, they get the same information, but they also get the restricted information, which is the sales information. We have never charged, well, years ago we did charge for the restricted, and then that fee was taken off. And I'm asking to put put a fee on that once again. We have provided that service on the restricted side free of charge for many years. It does cost the county to furnish that on the website. So we would like to recoup some of those costs and go forward. Last time I visited with you, there have been some changes to the program. One of the concerns was our sketches of buildings. We have been able to get that out there on the website, so that has been enhanced. Public and registered users do have access to sketches of our buildings, the main buildings, like houses and commercial buildings. Another thing was part of our maintenance agreement for this, for the website portal includes money set aside for enhancements. And counties request enhancements to this portal, and in January, some of those enhancements were shot out to all of the counties that use this. The registered users now have more search capabilities than they did prior. I've looked them over. I think they're good enhancements. I think that'll help them do better searches for sold properties, or however they want to, whatever they're looking for. I am proposing a charge of $166 a year. That is an odd number, but I did go back and try to estimate what it's costing us to have that portal on the website and have that available to the registered users. And I feel that I've kind of lowballed that estimate, but that's where I've come up with that. I've looked at what it costs to have that program, what it costs to service that program, all the costs that I can attribute it to that having that registered portion on the website. So I've come up with $166. Have any questions for me?
What does it cost to have that program available?
I've got it on here.
Okay, I'm
And I'm sure
patient.
there's probably a maintenance
Yes, we have
agreement or
maintenance
something
fees.
we have to
Yep,
pay like every other program we have in the county.
yep.
Right, Mike?
I have estimated just our portion of that is just right over $2,900 a year.
Okay,
And like I said, I tried to go on the low end to make this affordable. And I'm estimating 10 users a year. I may be high, I may be low, I don't know. But even at 10, I'm still not quite covering the cost of what it is.
right. But we're getting started.
Yes.
And
Barton County recently went online with this program, and immediately they had 10 users, registered users, willing to pay $250 a month, $250 a year for the service.
Okay.
And we're below that,
Okay.
okay?
Gentlemen, any questions for Lisa?
No, she kind of answered mine one other time when I talked to her about it, so.
Okay,
I've got a couple questions, just a few things that I think you covered with me in the meeting earlier, but might be good to have on the record. These property record cards that are requested quite often from the office are now available on the website, correct? Where they could print them themselves, or
I can upload those to the website once a year.
once a year? Okay.
Once a year. This is one of those new enhancements that we received. My decision is to do that when we certify our values to the clerk June 1st. So right after that, we'll work on getting those uploaded. That will be the record of the property as of January 1st.
Okay.
But by the time we get through all our process and all our, if we have informal hearing changes, whatever, June 1st is what we give to the clerk. And so those property record cards will be available after that.
Okay. And the typical cost of one of those cards at our office is that the dollar?
$1 if someone calls and asks for one, we
So
charge
there's a
$1.
little bit of time that comes from staff. I mean, it's pretty quick probably for them to print them out, but they have to go do it. So
Yes.
these are some of the main things that I'm concerned about, is making sure that staff time is, if we're implementing a fee, at least the idea is that we make up some cash on the deal and we save staff time so
Yes.
that they can do their daily work. And then there's another, it's a $5 fee, and I believe that's over multiple properties, and typically an appraiser is asking for this.
Right, we have fee appraisers typically will call and ask for a report. And typically our base fee for that is, they'll call and ask what ranch homes have sold in the county that are year-built since 2000.
Okay.
They want basic information on those type of homes. Well, we have to generate a report from scratch. So our base fee is $10 for that.
Yeah, okay.
If we do have some that have their own query written and they send that to us and we run it, we charge them $5 because they've done the majority of the work to begin with.
Gotcha.
So-
But that's not included. I mean, I could
That's
expect that our realtors are gonna, or appraisers are gonna know this is still gonna be a fee that requires time
Right.
from the office. Okay.
A lot of that information they may be able to do on their own as a registered user with the search options in that
Yeah.
program.
So the biggest question mark I guess we have is how many users are gonna actually utilize this, because currently we have 65 separate emails that are using the service. But based on your calculations, I think you said Barton County has done this and only 10 of them actually kept the service. And I imagine that's your broker owners and your, and maybe your fee appraisers.
Fee appraisers, yes.
So, I mean, from my perspective, I imagine it'll be a little more than that. I think you're pretty conservative on that at 65. I imagine we're going to have more. My biggest thought process was just making this an easy, understandable fee. At 166, I know you did kind of the math
Yeah.
on it, but I would say maybe just, at $150 fee, we're covering a lot of our costs, even if we only get 10. I'd hate to stick it to the brokers, the real estate agents, stuff like that. I know that the big deal on this is that we're just trying to cover some of our costs. I think the biggest win on this is that they can get these property record cards and print them out there and save staff time too, which is a huge benefit, I think, in the office. And so, you know, as I've discussed it with a few of the brokers and stuff, I think they feel fair at $150 if they're not having to come in here and request that $1 card all the time, and they didn't expect to get any kind of discount on those reports. So, and that's just a few that have reached out to me. But as we discussed earlier today, I imagine the brokers will be the ones that get these accounts and share them with all their agents. So hopefully, not each individual agent is having to come up with this fee, but that's my thought process. I don't know if that seems fair to you, but I just thought simplifying the fee and hoping that maybe one more person than we expect gets it and covers the same amount of money that we
Sure.
are talking.
Dean,
I'm
any
I'm
comments?
okay with that.
Okay.
No, I'm fine with that also.
Sure.
Couple of the realtors
Well,
I talked to.
I think it was great that we could provide this service at no charge,
Yeah.
but that time has just passed.
Yes.
And we have to look at some fees, just given the fiscal situation we're in.
The other thing that I might suggest is we talked about those the cards being available come, as you say, June or July?
June 1st.
So in June is when we're going to have a completely updated record for them. My suggestion would be to implement this fee at that point so that any fee appraiser who is upping their license will know and can get on board with us then. That way we're not kind of in a random middle of the year month and we have a date that we set it for. Would you like it then, or would you rather it be in January each year, or?
Well, my thought with the fee appraisers is their license runs from July 1st through June 30th.
Okay,
I would either prorate portion of the year or give them the rest of the year free to June 30th and then start charging July 1st.
that's what I think.
Realtors are a little different. Their
Okay.
license don't run the same cycle.
I just think for their sake, we make it easy on them when they're doing their re-upping their license. They start paying on our service, and that way, it's kind of in the same time, and they're not getting surprised going on the website with a fee that they need to get covered and stuff. I think that'd be simple. And you said June 30th is
Right, that's when their
Okay.
license
Fine
expires.
with me.
Do I hear a motion?
okay. How do we want to make this motion?
Well, $150 fee.
150.
Yep. So 150 instead of 166. Okay, I'll make the motion. I move that the county appraiser office fees be implemented from a fee range of $15 to $50 for providing an estimate of real estate taxes and an annual fee of $150 to access privileged data through the appraiser's web portal.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, county administrator hiring process. Darren?
Darren Myers, intern county administrator. This is just a continuance on your agenda item to have a discussion about how you'd like to proceed with the next administrator hiring process. I feel a lot better this week. I'm not coughing, so hopefully we can have a more engaging discussion. Since then, we've passed out one firm that was recommended to Commissioner Hazelhorse. So you each have that in front of you, as well as I gave you a copy of probably 20 or 30 different firms that are out there, range different values and services and prices. So I just leave it to the commission to decide if you want me to reach out to any specific ones, invite them to a future meeting, or how would you like to proceed?
Well, I think we do need to proceed. Dean, do you have any
I'd like
comments
to
about
see you
this?
call Austin Ball back and get a price from them. Like I say, he told me one, I didn't write it down, of the range they had. So if you'd call him back tomorrow, maybe check with him. And there was another one on here. I haven't looked at these yet, the ones you just handed out, but did
Need
any of
me-
these have prices in?
Those are just the
The ones you handed out, or these are just the cover sheets?
flyers that they that the different counties have put out to
Okay.
promote their counties and their residences and why you'd want to move there to be their administrator.
Then you might check with KAC also about advertising it on their website. And I think it's one of the other organization. Donna, do you remember one of the other Kansas websites?
You've got the League of Kansas Municipalities.
That's it.
Would be one. Then we can have the Kansas Association of City County Managers. They also have something that we could post. A couple of those do have small fees. Once we get that job description and everything and how you like to proceed.
You know, we have our, this here from the last time, far as what we're looking for, and we can use a lot of that. You guys have all that, right?
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
I just printed off one copy.
Oh, you did?
That's
Oh,
just something that
Okay, though.
Janet has given me and
We got
what
time
we've
to look at
collected.
okay.
Those I would recommend if you do hire Austinbaugh or whoever, give them an example of those flyers. Ellis County, there's one in there from Ellis County from 5 years ago when we hired Phil, but there's also one that I printed off that the Finney County is currently using to hire they're also looking for a county administrator. So I think just to keep us competing with another potential competitor for a county administrator, that we have that firm do something like that for us as well, and that way we can advertise it and share it with somebody that may not be as knowledgeable what Ellis County has to provide.
I do have a Leadership Kansas classmate that works for the League of Kansas Municipalities, so I will reach out to her and see in what ways they can assist us. But yeah, I think if we can get pricing, this Ozenbaugh Consulting came pretty highly regarded, and it seemed like we haven't heard anything negative. It just, and possibly a relatively less estimated cost. So, if we can see where they're actually at, kind of get us a bottom dollar, and it was a 3-month window that they usually need. Is that what I read in there?
For the new,
Process
for the process, or to hire the new?
to hire.
Each administrator's probably, it's going to be dependent on the administrator. Some of their contracts will have 30 to 60 day clauses in them that they have to give their notice for their current
yeah.
employee. But depending on your quality of applicants, you can get a assistant county administrator that might only give you a 2-week notice to be able to move away. So it's going to be dependent on who all applies.
And this consulting firm will likely give us 3 to 5 candidates to choose from. Their best candidates, is that? Yeah.
I believe that's what was in there.
Okay.
I think they narrowed it down to 3 to 5 candidates, and then they meet with your commission. Then you guys the commission can narrow it down to 2 or 3 that you would like to interview, and then make your decision from there.
I believe when we hired our first administrator, it was the Austin's Peters Group
Oh, it was? Okay.
that was involved in that. Is there any desire to see what their fees might be on something like this, or do we just want to go with this one?
They were out of Wichita, weren't they?
It looks like Overland Park on
Overland
here.
Park, they were there?
Yeah.
I thought it was Wichita. Because I was on that committee that
We're
time.
out of Overland Park.
Yeah, it looks like Reno County used them previously.
But, seems like with them, it just drug out a long time.
Okay, so you're really not interested in,
Oh, I think we want to pursue it, see what they have for a
just to
fee.
see what they have to say, and, okay.
I think so, especially since they're a Kansas firm. I mean, I think that'd be somebody to look at.
So
Okay.
contact both Austinbaugh as well as Austin Peters to see if they can give us some price estimates.
Sure.
Would you like either of them? Do you want to look at that and then make a decision and then offer to see if they'll come out to meet with you at a meeting?
I would like to meet
Yep.
them. I'd like to see them face to
Oh,
face.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I will have, it's Amanda Stanley is my classmate, and I will have her call you, Darren, and let you know what they can assist in. But they deal with a lot of city administrators that might be interested in the position. So I actually have 2 people in mind that I'm going to ask to apply as well, just former city and a statewide assistant county administrator that I would like to apply. So I'll reach out to them, tell them we're hiring as well. But
I'll try to get the Austinbaugh and Austin Peters group prices for you by next commission meeting on the 17th,
Okay.
and then we can
Great.
proceed
Sounds
from
good.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, County Administrator report. Darren?
Just a couple things. First off, I'd like to remind if the press could maybe put out something. February 17th is President's Day, but as the commission is aware, county offices will be closed next Monday, or this coming Monday, I guess. We're having the in-service training day that all county employees will be at. I will note that the landfill office will still be open because they have normal operations that they have to be open for, but all of their offices in the county will be out there. And if they could make a notice to that, that would be great. We'll still have a commission meeting that evening here, but we'll be out at the fairgrounds all day doing different types of fire extinguisher demos, active shooter training, AED use. So hopefully we'll take advantage of it. I believe it's the first time that the county's done something like this, but
Yep, sounds good.
full day's plan. After that, tomorrow we have an update for the different projects that are going on with the architect at the Law Enforcement Center and Courthouse. To our knowledge, the EFIS project should be complete, so hopefully we'll get that finalized tomorrow. We went through the punch list with that. We're still waiting on that part to be for the construction company to start because of the part that was delayed for the elevator. That was supposed to have shipped, and I was going to ask Greg before I came down here, and I forgot, but it's supposed to be arrived anytime last week. So once they get that here, they'll have to fit into their schedule to start on that project. And then we have a kickoff meeting for the courthouse restrooms project. The commission chair signed that contract last week, and they wanted to confirm that they had all their equipment in place and ordered before they actually give us a start date, because they don't want to tear out urinals and toilets and such and have restrooms out of service. They want to be able to get in and get out and not impact the courthouse operations. So hopefully have a little bit more of an update after maybe next week on where we're at on those projects. That's all I got.
Okay. County Commissioner reports. Dean?
Really don't have much to report. I am gonna be in a TV commercial tomorrow for wind energy, so.
Oh.
Coming out of Iowa tomorrow, and I get to be with them from 2 to 5, so. I already did one, and now I get to do they're bringing their whole film crew out this time to do another one, so.
I think it's supposed to be a nice calm day, too.
Well, let's hope it is.
Yeah. Commissioner Ross?
A couple things. Last Tuesday, I was able to go to a meeting with a couple of the city officials and Fort Hays officials in Dr. Tisa Mason's house. We discussed the economic impact of Fort Hays State University on the area, Ellis County in particular. Some relatively shocking numbers, as it is a big institution and growing institution. It was a really nice meeting, and I brought these packets. She sent them with me for you guys. But between the two studies, they did a couple different of economic impact studies. One was called IMPLAN. It estimated $175,280,000 in economic impact. And then the other one, which is a direct, indirect, and induced impact plan, figured at more around $233 million. And that would include indirect impact and induced impact from their economic activities. So obviously, we all know how blessed we are to have Fort Hays State University. They're part of my district, and I thought I would brag about them a little bit. So the next thing I had is I was able to attend the city work session last Thursday. Everything seemed to be fine as far as our request for them to turn over some of the excess sales tax dollars. All of them spoke highly in favor of it, and it goes to a vote on Thursday. I plan to be at that meeting too. Luckily they didn't ask me to talk in their meeting, but in case questions came to mind before the actual vote, I would like to be there, and I don't know if Darren would be willing to join me, but all the discussions I've had with them over the phone have been positive to this, and it's nice to see the city of Hays coming on board with this Northwest Corridor project. So excited about that. The last thing is a few discussions that I've had with the Northwest Kansas Planning and Development Corporation. I got to talk with a little bit of their staff. I'm going to have a meeting with Doug Williams and Sandy Jacobs to discuss the City of Hayes' and Grow Hayes' position on this in terms of, I know we talked to them about coming with a potential change to the way that they run their organization and in the fee structure. I've talked with Bill Jeter a little bit about it. I'd like to pan down those numbers maybe before next meeting and kind of tell you guys where I'm at and what I'm thinking. Essentially, it would be a cap in how much any county would have to do, only because I don't feel like property values should impact their amount of work on the county. Actually might lessen their amount of work because of the amount of areas that don't qualify for some of their grants. But I think that would be at least an olive branch maybe from our commission to see if the other counties involved still want us to be involved, and if not, then I think our decision would be made and at least give us an opportunity to give them an opportunity to say yes to us. So that's all from me.
Okay. Just a couple items from me. I had a call from Mayor Dave over at Ellis, and he wants me to come over and address the Ellis City Council next Monday after their meeting. I guess they have some concerns and questions, and so I will be going over and visiting with them. And earlier this week, or excuse me, it had been last week, I got a call from our health director, Jason, and Jason was going through his budget, and he found a line item in there that is a $4,000 line item. He talked to me about it, wanted to get my thoughts and feelings on it. And it was for the Metro Courier Service. They use that service to send specimens down to KDHE. And I believe Jason told me that the rural water districts are also using that service to send water specimens down. Jason said he believes that the health department could function real well by sending their specimens through FedEx, maybe costing a few $100s a year as opposed to $4,000. And of course, the rural water districts would also have to spend some money on doing that, but currently they're getting the service free. I don't know that they would want to spend the money on buying a membership to that service. So I did give Jason my blessing and told him that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. I do recall when they implemented that Metro Courier service, it was after the 9/11 attacks, and that service was provided free, and it seemed like every year it just kept growing and growing. So
Yeah.
Maybe it's time we do get rid of it.
Yep, I talked to him also today.
Yep, he gave me a call. I gave him my blessing too. It's
Yep.
exactly the type of things we're asking department heads to look for.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep, good job, Jason.
Okay, and that's all I have.
5:42.
The commission will adjourn at 5:42.